Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. We are now looking at the various functions of an entrepreneur. I want to give a simple example so that you understand what is this term functions mean. Let me take a simple example. Let us say a cycle. You take your cycle from your house and then you reach your school. If you have to safely reach the school from your house, the various parts of the cycle should function properly. What is the function of a pedal? To give that direction, to give that momentum for the cycle to move. If the pedal is not working, the cycle will not move. What is the function of the handlebar? The purpose of the handlebar is to give you the direction. If you want to turn right, if you want to turn left, if you want to go straight, the handlebar should function. If the handlebar does not function, just imagine what will happen. What is the purpose of a brake? The function of a brake is to apply pressure and apply friction and stop the cycle. Somebody comes in between. You have to stop the vehicle. Similarly, each and every part of the cycle should function. Similarly, the various functions of an entrepreneur should function. Yes, various functions. That's what we were seeing. In today's class, we are going to look at 4 other functions: directing, leading, communicating, and motivating. What is direction? When you go to a movie, you see direction, screenplay direction. The director of a movie knows how to communicate the theme of the movie. Similarly, the entrepreneur should give directions every day, directing people to work. For example, it is said it is concerned with carrying out the desired plans. It initiates the organized and planned action and ensures effective performance by the subordinate towards accomplishment of the group activities. People may not know how to solve a problem. He may be an excellent cook, but he may not know how to solve a problem. So he comes to the entrepreneur. There has to be a unity of command. Make a note of this word, unity of command. If there is an issue, if there is a problem, the various members of the organizing, the various members of the enterprise should know whom to go and ask. So important function is giving directions. Next one is leadership. We have already discussed the difference between managing and leading. He's a leader. A manager manages for the day. A leader takes a look at the future. A leader is a motivator. A leader is an inspiring person. That's why we talk about a national leader, religious leader, community leader. We don't talk about a national manager, community manager. So leadership is giving a direction, giving the people a vision so that they get excited. That's leadership function. Then communication. Communication is very, very important. Now, what does it say? It constitutes a very important function of an entrepreneur. It is observed to be the most prevalent problem among the entrepreneurship today. It has been established that entrepreneurs spend 75 to 90% of their working time communicating with others. It refers to the exchange of ideas, feelings, emotions, knowledge, and information between two or more persons. Nothing happens in management until effective communication takes place. Later on, maybe we will discuss more on the details of communication. 75 to 90% of the time of an entrepreneur is spent in communicating with people. For example, the entrepreneur should communicate with the people what is the daily plan, what is the weekly plan, how to solve problems, internal communication. An entrepreneur should also communicate with external agencies. Let me take the same restaurant example. He has to communicate with the government, the sanitary inspector, the food inspector. He has to communicate with the vendors supplying of vegetables. He has to communicate with the customers. If there is a difference of opinion between members of the team, he has to communicate. That's why it talks about exchange of feelings, emotions, knowledge, information between two or more persons. Communication is very, very important. It's not just verbal communication. It is said nearly 80% of the communication is non-verbal. Only 20% is verbal. You may ask me how we have been communicating. But what about the non-verbal communication? From the look of a customer, the entrepreneur should know whether he is satisfied or not. From the look of an employee, the entrepreneur should know whether he is happy or not. Communication is not in words. Communication is in people. Same word may mean different things to different people on different occasions. If a person is angry, a simple word may trigger a big controversy. For example, the word idiot. Like an idiot, why did you do that? Now, if the feelings and emotions are cordial, he may take it as a friendly gesture. But if the relationship is strained, emotionally when a person is charged, or when a person is angry, the same word idiot may trigger big controversy. So, the job or the function of an entrepreneur is very, very important in terms of communication abilities. Let us say there is a textile shop or a jewelry shop or a departmental stores. If a customer is angry and is angry with the people working in the enterprise, the entrepreneur should know how to communicate, pacify that customer. Maybe the customer is wrong. Even then, an entrepreneur is responsible to convince the customer without at the same time letting down his people. Communication is very important. In fact, 75 to 80% of an organization fail because of poor communication. Later on, maybe we will see about branding, how do you project an image of the organization. That is also communication. Next time when you go on a road, look at the various hoardings. What do they communicate? Advertisement is very, very important. For example, I mentioned to you in the last lesson, washing powder, Nirma. What a powerful communication it was. Boost is the secret of my energy. That was another beautiful advertisement. So, the ability to communicate is a very important quality of an entrepreneur. And communicating effectively is a very important function of an entrepreneur. The next one is motivation. It's a psychological process of creating an urge among the subordinate to do certain things or behave in the desired manner. The importance of motivation can be realized from the fact that the performance of a worker depends upon his or her ability and the motivation. A sound motivational system must be productive, competitive, comprehensive, and flexible. And it must consider the psychological, social, safety, ego, economic needs of the worker. Now, in simple terms, the ability to make people work to their maximum potential is motivation. Later on, we'll discuss what are all the factors of motivation. One thing, you cannot think that money is the only motivator. There was a sociologist who gave a hierarchy of needs. Write down this word, hierarchy of needs. Hierarchy. What is a hierarchy? One step, next step, next step, next step, next step. One level, next level, next level, next level. Hierarchy. And Maslow said the basic need is food, water, important thing, basic needs, money. So a person joins the company, he applies, he says, sir, give me some job. And once the job is given and salary is given, do you think he is going to be satisfied? No. Then he will ask for when I am going to be made permanent. So the security need. Once he is made permanent, do you think he is going to be happy? He will say when I am going to be promoted. If it is promoted, do you think he is going to be happy? He will say when are you going to give me more responsibilities? This is called hierarchy of needs. So an entrepreneur should know how to motivate. See, it's not that every day we are having the same enthusiasm to work. One day we'll have more enthusiasm, another day we'll have less enthusiasm. Let us relate it to a simple household thing. How does your mother motivate you to do homework? See, those days people thought there are only two methods to motivate. One is reward, the other is punishment. Reward. Supposing your mother says, if you do homework, I'll give you a chocolate. Every day she says, if you do the homework, I'll give you chocolate. One day you will say no. Sometimes she has to punish you. She has to tell you, no, you're not done your homework. So I will not allow you to see the television. So motivation must be productive, competitive, comprehensive, and flexible. Everybody has an intention to work. Everybody comes to the organization, enterprise to work, but will everybody work to the maximum capacity? No. It is a job of the entrepreneur to motivate a person by encouraging a person, if necessary by punishing a person, by communicating the person. That's very, very important. Then comes supervision. Write down this word supervision. Supervision. You read the word, you split it into two. Supervision. Supervision. We say superba. An entrepreneur should have a vision which is superior. Supervision. After issuing instructions, the entrepreneur has to see that the given instructions are carried out. Supervision refers to the job of overseeing subordinates at work to ensure that the maximum utilization of resources to get the required and directed work done, and to correct the subordinate whenever they go wrong. See, one thing I have understood in my experience, 80% of the job of a manager or an entrepreneur is follow up. Write down this word, follow up. F-O-L-L-O-W, up, follow up. Let me give a simple example. Let's say that you are in the classroom and the teacher gives you a written assignment and she says, yeah, do this work, I will go to the principal's room and come. Do you think all of you will be doing exactly what you should be doing when the teacher is present? The moment the teacher disappears, you know what happens. So a good follow-up mechanism is supervision. In the morning, we were talking about directing, controlling, communicating. So the entrepreneur will sit in his place and be looking around how people are working, supervising. Supposing he instructs the manager to procure some material, he has to supervise whether it has been done or not. So supervision is a very, very important function of an entrepreneur. Let us complete the balance also. Coordination. I have already discussed with you. The entrepreneur should coordinate with various agencies. Let's say that an entrepreneur has a fleet of taxis. Supposing he has got about 100 taxis. He has to coordinate with various people, bankers. Every day you should ensure that the money is remitted to the bank. You should coordinate with the drivers. You should coordinate with the customers. You should ensure that all the vehicles are cleaned up every day. It is one of the most important functions, and it is essential to channelize the activities of various individuals in the organization. Coordinate, put it in a proper line. That's called coordination. For the achievement of the common goal, the entrepreneur has to make sure that the work of different segments is going according to the predetermined targets, and corrective measures have to be initiated if there are any deviations. So coordination is very, very, very important. It's something like in a watch, wristwatch, mechanical watch, they used to talk about what is called a mainspring. The mainspring is very, very important. So, coordinating. Now, let us take a simple example. Let's say that there is a factory, there is a production department, there is a purchase department, there is a finance department, there is personnel department, there is a security department. You take your own school. How many departments are there? Mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, computer science, economics, accountancy, commerce, business studies, entrepreneurship, legal studies, languages, arts and crafts, physical training, and then there is administration department. The job of a principal to coordinate all these people, connecting all these people. So coordination is very, very important. And last but not the least is controlling. Is very, very important. Now, control is the process with which enables entrepreneur to get his or her company's policies implemented and take corrective action if performance is not according to the predetermined standards. The process begins with the establishment of standards of performance, measuring actual performance, comparing the actual performance with the standard, finding variations, and finally taking corrective action. Now, controlling. Let's say that a simple example, let's say there's a jewelry shop. And the jewelry shop owner knows how much money is required for that month. How much raw materials required for that month. And how much is the expenditure. What is the cash flow? You know what a cash flow is? I'm sure you will be studying it in accountancy or commerce. Money comes in, money goes out. You should ensure controlling. Controlling of expenditure, controlling of cost, controlling wastage. This control function is very, very important. When there is a problem, when you know what the definition of a problem? Problem is a deviation between what should be happening and what is happening. So, these are the various functions of an entrepreneur. So, let me revise: planning, organizing, staffing, directing, leading, communicating, motivating, supervising, coordinating, and controlling. Here is a small exercise for you. You go and talk to any of your friends, parents, or your own parent may be doing a business, and go and interview. If your father is running a shop, Daddy, tell me, how do you run your company? And ask all these things. He may not be able to explain to you in these words, but you will understand. You can say, Papa, tell me, what do you do from morning till evening? How do you make a final product? He may be a big entrepreneur or he may be a small entrepreneur. Doesn't matter. Supposing in your house there is no entrepreneur, I'm sure in your friend's house there should be somebody. Or you team up to 3 or 4 students and go to fix an appointment with a departmental store's owner. Prepare these questions, go interview and find out how this is implemented. These various functions are implemented there. See, entrepreneurship is not a subject to be memorized and written. It has to be experienced. There are a lot of people. That's why even the milk vendor is an entrepreneur. The person who is selling vegetables is an entrepreneur. And big companies, of course, multinational companies are also enterprises. So, In the next class, we are going to discuss a very, very important function called commercial function. See you in the next class.